Liam originally assumes Ivy simply wants to talk about recent chaos involving the Forrester family and the constant pressure girding Steffi Forrester. But as he arrives at the isolated precipice house overlooking the Pacific, he incontinently senses Commodity is wrong. Ivy's hands fluctuate, her eyes filled with a blend of fear and determination. Liam, confused by her unease, asks what's going on. After a long pause, Ivy looks straight at him and says the words that change everything. Electra is our son. The judgment hits Liam like a shockwave. For a moment he cannot indeed reuse what she has said. He laughs nervously, assuming she must be joking, but Ivy's serious expression makes it clear she's not. Liam's world begins to spin as he struggles to understand how such a massive secret could have been hidden from him for so long. Times before, during one of the complicated ages in Liam's life when his relationship with Steffi was falling piecemeal, he'd grown near to Ivy. Their connection had been brief but meaningful. According to Ivy, that short moment led to Commodity neither of them anticipated. She explains that shortly after she left Los Angeles, she discovered she was pregnant. Alarmed about what it would mean for Liam's formerly chaotic life and bothered that revealing the verity would drag the child into the endless Forrester Spencer drama, Ivy decided to raise the baby in secret. That baby, she says, is Electra Forrester. Liam gapes at Ivy in unbelief, replaying every memory in his mind. He remembers Electra arriving in Los Angeles lately, confident, ambitious, and determined to make her mark at Forrester Creations. At the time he'd simply assumed she was another distant member of the extended family. Now Ivy is telling him Electra is actually his son. The shock nearly overwhelms Liam. He begins asking rapid-fire questions. Why didn't Ivy tell him sooner? How long has Electra known? Why bring this up now after so numerous times? Ivy's voice cracks as she tries to answer. She says she no way intended for the verity to come out, but recent events have forced her hand. Electra has been growing near to people in the Spencer and Forrester circles, and Ivy fears the verity might come out accidentally. Rather than allow the secret to explode in a destructive way, she believes Liam deserves to hear it from her directly. Liam feels a blend of wrathfulness, heartache, and confusion. He cannot understand how Ivy could make such a life-changing decision without him. But at the same time, a strange emotional warmth begins to grow inside him as the reality settles in he might have another child in the world. Meanwhile, across city at Forrester Creations, Electra is fully ignorant of the storm that's forming around her. She's concentrated on proving herself professionally and navigating complicated connections with other members of the family. Her relations with Steffi have been tense, especially since Steffi senses Commodity mysterious about Ivy's unforeseen defensive station toward Electra. Steffi has always been fiercely territorial about her family, particularly when it comes to Liam and their participated history. However, Electra's actuality could dramatically change the dynamics of everything Steffi allowed. She understood about Liam's life, if Ivy's disclosure is true. Back at the Precipice House, Ivy continues telling the story she has hidden for times. She describes the moment Electra was born and the inviting love she felt the first time she held her son. She admits that every time she watched Liam from hence, whether through news about Spencer publications or casts of his life with Steffi and the children they participated, she wondered whether she had made the right decision by keeping Electra a secret. But Ivy insists she was trying to cover everyone involved, especially the child. Liam listens still, his feelings shifting from wrathfulness to anguish. He realizes that while Ivy's choice hurt him deeply, she truly believed she was doing the right thing. Ultimately, Liam asks the question that matters utmost: does Electra know he might be her father? Ivy hesitates before answering. She explains that Electra lately began asking questions about her history and about Liam specifically. Ivy believes Electra suspects Commodity but doesn't know the full verity yet. That consummation makes Liam indeed more nervous. The idea that Electra could discover the verity accidentally, or worse, from someone additional, terrifies him. He insists that if Electra really is his son, he wants to be the one to tell her. But Ivy warns him that revealing the verity will spark a chain response across Los Angeles. Steffi will really reply explosively. Hope Logan, who has her own complicated relationship with Liam, could also be drawn into the drama. And formally the secret reaches the cognizance of Bill Spencer, the important Spencer primogenitor. The situation could come explosive. Bill has always been defensive of his family heritage, and discovering he has another granddaughter could produce both joy and conflict. Liam paces the room, running his hands through his hair as the weight of the disclosure settles on him. Every memory of Electra now takes on a fully different meaning. The way she occasionally looked at him with curiosity, the strange emotional connection he sometimes felt when they spoke. Could his instincts have been seeing commodity deeper all along? He feels both agitated and alarmed about what comes next. Ivy also drops another emotional subcast to the story. She admits that part of the reason she's revealing the verity now is because Electra is starting to fall into the same complicated romantic snares that have agonized the Forrester and Spencer families for decades. Ivy fears that if Electra becomes deeply connected to someone in Liam's circle without knowing the verity about her lineage, it could produce a ruinous situation. Liam understands incontinently. The involved web of connections in Los Angeles has caused enough heartache formally. The two agree that the coming step must be telling Electra together, but neither of them is sure when the right moment will be. Ivy worries Electra might feel betrayed for having such a huge secret kept from her entire life. Liam fears she might reject him fully after learning the verity. Yet despite their fears, both of them know the secret cannot stay retired ever. As the sun begins to set outside the precipice house windows, Liam eventually stops pacing and looks at Ivy with an admixture of determination and vulnerability. He tells her that if Electra truly is his son, he wants the chance to make a relationship with her, indeed if it takes time. Ivy nods, relieved but still anxious about what the future holds. Away, Electra stands in the design office at Forrester Creations, reviewing sketches and featuring about her future in the fashion world. She has no idea that at this very moment, the foundation of her entire identity is about to change. The disclosure that Liam Spencer might be her father won't only review her history but also reshape her place in the important Forrester and Spencer dynasties. And in classic The Bold and the Beautiful fashion, the verity promises to enkindle emotional competitions, family battles, and unanticipated alliances. When Electra eventually hears the words "Liam is your father," her response could shoot shockwaves through every corner of Los Angeles. The question now isn't just whether the secret will come out, it is how everyone will survive formally it does. The stunner Ivy has dropped is only the morning, and the fallout may change the lives of Liam, Electra, and the entire Forrester family ever more. The emotional shock continues to ripple through the world of The Bold and the Beautiful after Ivy Forrester delivers the life-changing concession to Liam Spencer that Electra Forrester is actually their son. For Liam, the disclosure isn't just shocking, it fully rewrites his understanding of the once decade of his life. Every memory, every discussion, and every strange moment he participated with Electra suddenly carries a deeper meaning. As Ivy continues explaining how she hid the gestation and raised Electra down from the chaos of Los Angeles, Liam feels a whirlwind of feelings. Part of him is furious that such an enormous verity was hidden from him, but another part of him cannot stop allowing about the possibility that he has another child who has grown into a remarkable youthful woman without him indeed knowing. Ivy's voice trembles as she describes how delicate those early times were. She confesses that raising Electra alone forced her to come stronger than she ever imagined. She worked lifelessly to give her son stability and occasion while constantly stewing that someone from the Forrester or Spencer worlds might discover the verity. Ivy explains that every time Electra asked questions about her father, she plotted with what to say. She no way wanted to lie, but she also stressed that revealing Liam's identity would pull Electra into a family drama that no way seems to end. Now, still, effects have changed. Electra is no longer a child. She is a grown-up who deserves to understand where she came from. Liam sluggishly sits down, his mind racing. The reality of motherhood has always been important to him, and the idea that he intentionally missed times of his son's life is nearly unsupportable. He remembers Electra's determination when she joined the design platoon at Forrester Creations and how impressed he was by her intelligence and confidence. At the time he simply allowed. She was another ambitious member of the extended Forrester family. Now he wonders if the connection he felt with her was commodity deeper, commodity spontaneous. The possibility that he tasted his own son without realizing it sends chills down his spine. Ridge remained undecided. He turned toward Brooke with an admixture of disappointment and unbelief. 4 times, their relationship had survived numerous storms, backstabbings, misconstructions, battles, but moments like this always hovered to renew old injuries. Ridge reminded Brooke that fidelity signified further than anything in the Forrester family. Intimately humiliating Eric, indeed if it happened behind unrestricted doors, felt like a treason of that fidelity. Eric leaned forward sluggishly, his voice thoughtful as he addressed both of them. He conceded that the company and the family were under enormous pressure. Battles, particular grievances, and power struggles had created fractures that were growing harder to ignore. Maybe, Eric admitted, Brooke's words had struck such a wimwams precisely because there was some verity behind them. That admission stunned both Ridge and Brooke. Ridge incontinently expostulated, averring that Eric had nothing to apologize for and nothing to prove. But Eric shook his head gently. Age and experience had tutored him that leadership needed modesty as much as strength. He explained that running Forrester Creations had always been about further than power. It was about guarding the people he loved and icing the company would thrive long after he was gone. Hearing Brooke say that he was destroying everything he erected forced him to consider whether he'd been holding on to control too tightly. Ridge's frustration strengthened as he realized the argument was shifting in a direction he hadn't anticipated. He wanted to defend Eric, not watch him question himself. Brooke, on the other hand, felt a surge of guilt marshland over her. Seeing Eric reflect so seriously on her review made her want she had chosen her words more precisely. She tried to assure him that no bone misdoubted his heritage or his leadership. The emotional pressure between the three of them dallied, heavy and undetermined. Each of them understood that this battle wasn't just about 5 harsh words. It was about times of complicated connections, shifting power dynamics, and the enormous prospects placed on the Forrester family. Outside the office, rumors were formally beginning to spread through the halls of the fashion house. Sidekicks rumored about whether the battle meant major changes were coming for the company. As Ridge stood beside his father, his defensive instincts remained strong, but there was also a growing mindfulness that the situation was more complex than he'd originally believed. Brooke's review had easily wounded Eric, yet it had also forced him to defy delicate questions about the future. Whether those questions would strengthen the family or tear it piecemeal remained uncertain. One thing, still, was inarguable: the explosive moment when Ridge cried, "Leave my pater alone," had come another indelible chapter in the ongoing saga of the Forrester family. In the dramatic world of the bold and the beautiful, many important words can enkindle conflicts that change everything. And this battle was only the morning of a much larger storm that would test commitment, connections, and the future of the entire Forrester heritage. The emotional shockwaves from the battle inside Forrester Creations continued to ripple long after the shouting stopped, and the tense silence that followed felt nearly heavier than the argument itself. Inside the administrative office of the fabulous fashion house from the bold and the beautiful, 3 people stood at the center of a moment that would reshape the family's fragile balance of fidelity and power. Eric Forrester remained seated behind his office, his eyes drifting sluggishly across the office as if he were looking at decades of recollections concentrated into every wall, every snap, every sketch of a gown that formally defined a new period of fashion. The company had been his life's work, his topmost pride, and also the source of innumerous offerings. Hearing Brooke Logan say that he was destroying everything he'd erected struck him like an unforeseen storm tearing through a calm sky. Indeed, though she had formally begun to soften her tone, the impact of those 5 brutal words still echoed sorrowfully in his mind. Standing protectively at his father's side, Ridge Forrester plotted to control the wrathfulness still burning inside him. Ridge had always believed that family consanity was the foundation of the Forrester heritage, and hearing the coming day at Forrester Creations, Electra arrives beforehand, determined to concentrate on her rearmost design generalities. She has been working lifelessly to prove that she belongs in the competitive world of fashion. While sketching new ideas, she notices commodity strange. People around the office feel distracted, brooding still whenever Ivy's name comes up. Electra doesn't suppose much of it at first, assuming it's simply another surge of Forrester family drama. What she doesn't realize is that several workers have noticed Ivy and Liam meeting intimately further than formally in the once many days. In a company where gossip spreads faster than fabric samples, enterprise begins to grow. One of the people who hears these whispers is Steffi Forrester. Steffi has never been someone who ignores her instincts, and right now her instincts are screaming that something is wrong. She knows Liam well enough to recognize when he is hiding something. When she hears that he has been meeting with Ivy repeatedly, Old suspicions resurface immediately. Steffi cannot imagine why those two would suddenly reconnect after so many years unless there was something serious happening behind the scenes. Later that afternoon, Steffi confronts Liam directly. She finds him outside the office building and asks bluntly why he has been spending so much time with Ivy. Liam freezes for a moment, caught completely off guard. He tries to respond calmly, saying that Ivy simply needed to talk about some personal matters. But Steffi isn't satisfied with that answer. Her eyes narrow as she studies his expression. She can tell he is holding something back, and that only makes her more determined to uncover the truth. While this confrontation unfolds, Electra remains unaware that her life is about to change forever. She spends the afternoon working on a presentation for the design team, occasionally exchanging friendly conversation with Liam whenever their paths cross in the hallway. Yet something about Liam's behavior feels different today. He seems more emotional, more attentive, almost as if he is studying her every movement. Electra notices it but assumes he is simply impressed by her work. That evening, Ivy meets Liam again at a quiet restaurant to finalize their plan. They agree that they cannot delay the truth much longer. The longer they wait, the greater the risk that someone else will discover the secret first. Ivy suggests inviting Electra to dinner the following night under the pretense of celebrating her recent success at Forrester Creations. Once they are seated together in a private setting, Ivy and Liam will finally reveal everything. Liam nods, though the anxiety in his face is impossible to hide. He admits that he has imagined the moment over and over in his mind. In some versions, Electra reacts with shock but eventually embraces him. In others, she storms out of the room, unable to forgive them for hiding the truth for so many years. The uncertainty terrifies him. Ivy reaches across the table and gently reminds him that no matter how Electra reacts at first, the truth is still the right choice. Secrets like this eventually destroy relationships if they remain buried. The following evening arrives faster than either of them expected. Electra happily accepts Ivy's invitation to dinner, unaware that the event has been carefully arranged for a life-changing conversation. She arrives at the restaurant wearing a bright smile, excited to spend time with her mother and curious about why Liam has been invited as well. When she sees both of them waiting at the table, she jokes that it feels like a strange family gathering. Neither Ivy nor Liam laughs. As the dinner begins, the atmosphere feels unusually tense. Electra notices the serious expressions on their faces and quickly realizes that something important is about to be discussed. Ivy's hands tremble slightly as she begins speaking. She tells Electra how proud she is of the woman she has become and how much she loves her. Electra listens patiently but starts to grow concerned. She asks why Ivy is talking as if something terrible is about to happen. Liam finally takes a deep breath, knowing there is no turning back now. He looks directly at Electra, his voice filled with emotion as he begins to explain that sometimes people make difficult decisions because they believe they are protecting the ones they love. Electra frowns, confused by the strange introduction. She glances back and forth between Ivy and Liam, sensing the weight of the moment. Then Ivy speaks the words that change everything. She gently tells Electra that the story she has always known about her father is not the complete truth. Electra's eyes widen immediately, her heart beginning to race. She asks what Ivy means, her voice suddenly shaky. Ivy struggles to continue, but Liam reaches out and finishes the sentence for her. He tells Electra that many years ago he and Ivy shared a brief but meaningful relationship, and that relationship led to something neither of them expected. He pauses, gathering his courage before delivering the final revelation. "Electra," he says softly, "I'm your father."